Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Toad Tot Podcast, available on all three of our platforms right now, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate y'all repeating to come on and listen to our podcast. This is our 6th episode now. Awesome. We had a really big episode last weekend where we took questions, Q&As, and AMAs from all of you in the Discord server, asking myself, Zazarus, and Coke Soda Can, who stepped in for Raji last week, all the questions. And it definitely took up the better half of the tail end of the podcast last week, but we were happy to answer all your questions and let you guys ask us anything to get to know us, the hosts, a little better. And we obviously didn't have the aforementioned Jeremy on the show last week because of work related difficulties, but he's here this week. And I think at the end of the podcast, we're going to answer all the questions that were directed towards him at him. So we'll do that at the end of our podcast so that you guys can get his answers as well now that he's back with us. But welcome in, everybody. I hope you all had a great weekend, and we are here for episode 6 now. Today is officially Easter as we record this. April 5th, Sunday, April 5th. Hope everyone's having a great Easter out there, wherever you're listening or whenever you're listening. Really appreciate y'all coming back. And again, if you have any feedback or anything you'd like to let us know, or anything, trailers, games, movies, pop culture, anything you would like for us to talk about, please. We open up the floor for all of you to, let us know what you would like for us to talk about and share our thoughts on. So we've got a lot of big stuff to get into today. Not so much on the sports side, but more so on the movies and games and the community, Croakitoad community. But I'm going to just kind of do the intro here. Of course, I'm Croakitoad. I am back here on the panel. And we also have RAJI, who's back. He is here.
What up?
He is back. He is back. Like Eric Bischoff.
I'm barely back.
But you're still here, and that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have Zazarus Grem is with us as well here on the panel.
Hello, everyone, and happy Easter.
Awesome. So the original trio is back in action here for episode 6. And but yeah, thanks everyone for watching and or listening, and hope to have more episodes coming your way here around the corner each and every weekend. So we're going to start things off with the Bring Your Own News segment like we usually do. And what I want to bring to the table is, obviously today is Easter as we record this, but is also a special person's birthday today, one among many. And today is the official 70th birthday of professional wrestler and former three-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion Diamond Dallas Page. Obviously the instructor and the inventor and creator of DDP Yoga, which is basically saved so many lives out there, whether they're famous or not, and has really helped a lot of people in their health and mental health over the years. We all have heard the stories and the recovery stories from people like Scott Hall, Jake the Snake, Buff Bagwell, and the list goes on and on, Scotty Riggs. And he's done so much to give back to the wrestling world and just people and humanity in general. And just wanted to plug him and give him a shout out for all the things that he's done to give back to the world. So yeah, happy birthday, Diamond Dallas Page. Bang. Now I'm going to send it over to Raji. What you got for us this week?
Houston, we've got a plumbing problem. The Artemis 2 launched last Wednesday on the 1st with it's the first NASA crewed mission in a long time, and their major issue right now is toilet problems. And yeah, I thought this was a perfect story for me to bring to the table, because just imagine being in space and you got to take a nice dump and the toilet doesn't work, so now you have to get a bag and you have to poop in a bag, and you got to hold on to that until the toilet works again so you can flush your poop and your pee out into space. Well, that's what they've been dealing with. They've been dealing with toilet problems since the mission started, and from anywhere from frozen lines to just the toilet not working in general. It has been an off and on issue since the mission has started, and I'm glad I'm down here with working toilets and not in space with having to use bags to collect my waste and hold on to it until the toilet can start working. So yeah.
Yeah, because you would definitely bring a new meaning to the Joe Dirt movie of that's a space peanut.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I, like you, am so happy I'm here on Earth, grounded with working toilets where my waste can go accordingly where it needs to go. And you, Graham, what have you got for us this week?
So I know we did answering the questions last week, and there was one that I kind of forgot to mention about, like, kind of, I wouldn't say like a regret of mine, but something I wish I could have done. I was a Boy Scout growing up, and I made it to being a life, like, badge, basically, or rank. And I couldn't get Eagle because you need to do like a service project, and I didn't have enough time before my 18th birthday to get that happening. So I guess my bringing news to the table here is, scouting in general, whether it's boys or girls or what have you, really taught me a lot of really key life lessons, and it was a lot of fun too. So if you're, ever wondering, like, should my cousin, nephew, son, daughter, whatever, should be going into that, it's something to definitely look for, or something to look into, and seeing if it is something that they are they could learn a lot from. And plus, on top of that too, if you get to be an Eagle Scout, it does help with like job searches and everything too. They look very high still on Scouts, let alone like Eagle Scouts. So
That's awesome. And I like how the Peak video game kind of integrates a lot of that too. Being scouts and learning how to do things like that. Seems
yeah,
like.
with your stash and your merit badges and everything like that by earning the achievements. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's really cool. And before we start with our gaming trailers, I also wanted to point out to everyone that's listening to the podcast, as of this recording, this upcoming Tuesday, I will be featured on the twitch.tv front page playing WWE 2K26. I believe it will be from 5 p.m. This Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central to 1 a.m. Central. So that'd be 6 Eastern to 2 a.m. Eastern this Tuesday. Catch me on twitch.tv. No / is necessary. Just simply twitch.tv and catch me on the main page of the website, and we'll see how crazy it gets this Tuesday while I play WWE 2K26. And come on by and mention the podcast. I'd love to shill you out in front of however many people we're going to end up having on the live stream. With that being said, do we want to real quick do a brief recap of the game giveaway that we have going on here, or do we want to wait and do that a little bit later?
I'd say do it now, actually.
Okay, so we have I'll just kind of briefly intro it and pass it over to RAJI since he's the orchestrator of it. But we have a game giveaway going on right now for all you listeners in the podcast for the Capcom brand new game coming out, Pragmata. And I have noticed that we have had at least three people reply in the comments with the special hidden Easter egg, hashtag that you need to do to enter the giveaway for Pragmata. So thank you to those listeners, those keen listeners out there that have listened for the keyword and have posted in our comments to enter the giveaway. That's very awesome of you. But here, I'll pass it over to RAJI to kind of explain more details about that.
Yeah, so the game will be coming out on the 17th. So I just went back and looked. 17th comes out on 17th. The giveaway the winner will be announced 2 weeks from today. Today's the 5th. We'll announce the winner on the 19th, and I will get in contact with that winner. If you win, you have a choice of getting a digital code for a platform of your choice, that being the Switch 2, PS5, Xbox Series X, or Steam. Or if you're a console user and you want a physical copy, I will send it to you through Amazon, and that is only eligible for PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch 2. Obviously, PC, there is no physical copy for PC, so that if you're a PC user, it will be a Steam gift straight to you.
That's awesome. And thank you so much for doing that. Like, we had neither one of us, me or Graham, knew any idea he was going to do this. So thank you live here on the spot, raw and unfiltered. Thank you on Happy Easter for doing that, Jeremy. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay, well, we're going to move on to gaming news and trailers. We've got 4 of them today. One of them was an actual request through our Discord server. So while we don't have very much in terms of sports this week to really talk about, we do have quite a bit of chunk of games and a few movies to talk about. So that'll be the biggest chunk of our podcast this week. But let's jump right into it. Coming up first, we have a game called Jesus Simulator. And on a day like today, where it's Easter, what better way to look at Jesus Simulator here through the IGN trailers? Let's take a look and see what this one's about.
It's all yours, son.
Welcome, Jesus.
Sorry, may I ask you something?
I will help you. He will be better.
Well, there you go. We just took a look at Jesus Simulator. I don't know why the next trailer played on me here. But yeah, very interesting. I didn't really know how to take this. I didn't know whether it was just going to be kind of a tongue-in-cheek game, if it was going to be like more humor on the side. But it looks like they're actually trying to be serious about this, and you're just basically filling in, you as the player, filling in the sandals of the greatest savior in the entire world, that in the history of man, Jesus Christ himself. And you're just basically like filling jugs with water, assembling chairs for Joseph, Mary, and characters that we know through the Bible are featured in the game. So it looks as if it's actually a serious take on everything. I know this isn't for everyone, because religion is such a hot topic, and people are this or people are that. But here, for the sake of just looking at the new game, we saw the title of this, and I thought it'd be really, really fun on a day like Easter to just take a look at. I, for one, just my personal thoughts, these are just my personal thoughts. I'm actually kind of happy to see that this is a serious take on it from what I've seen anyway. It doesn't look like the graphics are the greatest in the world, but um, at least it's a serious take on the life of Jesus, and those of us that, really invested the time to get to know him and have him in our lives, and read the Bible and everything like that. And so that's actually nice to give a game like that to those of us out there that are kind of in that category of gaming. And looks like the game will be coming out on March 23rd for PC through Steam. And yeah, look, like I said, it looks like a serious take. Like I was waiting for like machine guns and monsters and stuff to come out at any second, or something silly, but nothing did. It looked like a very grounded, low key, just story of Jesus here. Am I reading this the wrong way, or is that what you thought, Raji?
Yeah, this is actually one of 2 games that has come out regarding this. That came out. This Jesus Simulator came out the last week of March, and then another one came out just on this April 2nd. I think, and they're both serious takes on the whole story, from baptism to resurrection. I'm like you. I was expecting some satirical twist to be put on it, some comedy to be thrown in there. I mean, comedy's fine as long as it's not completely making fun of the whole scenario and the story and people who follow Christianity and all that. But comedy to like make us laugh, to make the a heavy situation more lighter and people can laugh about some stuff. But no, I'm actually very, like you, happy to see serious games like this come out. I know we're focused on Jesus Simulator, but if anyone's interested, the other game is called I Am Jesus Christ on Steam. It just came out on the 2nd, and they're both serious takes on the story with a few things thrown in there that, just to lighten the mood.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really happy to see that because, I mean, you think about it. On Steam, you have everything, and you have stuff that you actually kind of embarrassed to see pop up on your Steam. Like, is my kid going to be walking through here? Is my wife going to be walking through here? And you get games on there that you're like, oh God, you're embarrassed to have that come up on your Steam feed. So when you have games like that, and we all know what I'm talking about, I'm really happy to see games like this that are going the other way, that are more serious and grounded when it comes to this type of topic. But what are your thoughts on this, Grem? Are you happy to see more games like this to fulfill the needs of those who are more in their Christianity as gamers?
Yeah, and ultimately too, this is kind of what gaming, I wouldn't say is starting to become, but it's starting to kind of keep going in this direction. A lot of games now will either teach like real life stuff, or like a game might be meant for something else, but like for example, one of the newest Zelda games, right, where you're allowed to like craft and whatnot. Someone was actually able to make like airplanes and everything in that game, like World of Warcraft right now with housing, right? Now all of a sudden everyone's coming up with their own. I think something like this though, where, and RAJI kind of took my thunder too a little bit too, because I was thinking about this was the game that came out on the 2nd. I Am Jesus Christ. It's good because a lot of kids and teenagers now have their attention spans just focused on games and videos and everything like that. So reading the Bible and things of that nature are more difficult for them. They just can't just sit down and do that like most of us can. So for a game to come out like this and to be very serious about it too, it's good because, like you said, there's all types of games on Steam, and so long as it's obviously if you're not into Jesus or God or anything like that, you don't have to buy this game. It's not like it's being forced upon you or anything like that. You can just move on and you find another game. So I'm totally fine with this, honestly. I'm glad that they've come up with, even like you said, the janky graphics and everything. I'm glad that they came up with something like this.
Yeah, very much seems like more of kind of like just a story being told, an educational type of game, and I really like that because, like you said, you don't, if this isn't your jam, you're not into it, you don't have to get it. You can just skip the queue on Steam, just like I've done for many other games that are like, okay, yeah, this isn't my jam, or oh my God, is someone going to walk through here and see me on this game here on Steam, and I'm going to be completely embarrassed, and it's going to open a lot of questions up here on Steam. We've all been there in that position. We all know the games we're talking about. So it's nice that they're kind of going the other way on this. I'm happy to see this. But I didn't know that there was another I Am Jesus Christ was out, so I'll have to look into that one.
It's funny you say that because it's on your wish list.
Oh, well, that in like 3,000 other games are on my wish list.
You know what's funny? You probably wish list this one and then just thought, oh, okay, this is the game, and you thought it was that one rather than the one we just saw. So it does happen.
Yeah, I probably did. Well, to be fair, anyone that has my Steam knows that I have. If I see a game, I throw it on my wish list. I have like 3,000 games on my wish list, so I can't keep track of everything on there,
including those games that you don't want people to see.
Yes. The games that only one person will see, my only fan will see. Oh. All right. Well, that is a great way to kick things off here on an Easter episode of Toad Talk Podcast. We got another game coming up, and this one's kind of closer to me because I played the first two of these, but we apparently have a new Remothered game coming out. It's called Red Nun's Legacy, and it's going to be coming out sometime in 2026 for all platforms. I'll get into it a little bit more after we watch the trailer here.
What are we willing to do to save our children?
bodies of 4 of the previously reported missing people have been found.
A child is dreaming in REM phase. With open wings, a moth is ablaze.
Okay, there you see it. Remothered Red Nun's Legacy. This will be the third game in the Remothered series that I've played that has come out. Tormented Fathers, I believe, and Broken Porcelain were the first two. I have played them both on the Xbox and got all the achievements on both of them. So when I saw that this was coming out, I was like, okay, yeah, I might check this out. This is actually the first time we've seen the trailer. And to be fair, in the trailer, there's not a whole lot to go with. But it's definitely something that I would come to expect from the first two games of the Remothered. Looks like you're going to be in third person as usual. You're going to be trying to craft stuff, maybe avoid enemies. And a lot of in the first two games, there were a series of different stalker type enemies. Think maybe Nemesis from Resident Evil 3 or like Jack Baker from Resident Evil 7. And they're just like chasing you around and you got to run away and you use like distraction devices or throwable objects to get them off your trail. You can never fully destroy them. So you're like having to go around this giant mansion or whatever, or orphanage or hotel, wherever it is you're at, and avoid these stalker type characters that switch out. Also kind of like a little bit like Clock Tower 3 for those of you nostalgia gamers out there, or Haunting Ground for that matter, where each section of the game, like a new stalker comes in and is like trying to chase you down and take you out and stuff. But that's how the first two games are. Like I said, this trailer doesn't really give you a whole lot. It gives you a glimpse of one of the little stalker type enemies. I'm not sure if this is actually a stalker, or maybe it's just like a generic enemy that might be in the game. So maybe now the game features generic enemies in mass rather than just one stalker chasing you around. But in terms of story, I know I've said I played the first two games, but the story is so weird to me. I have a basic generalized idea of what's going on, but I really don't. So I'm interested to see if this is a tack on from the first two games, like similar characters or whatever. It does mention that there's 4 bodies, which doesn't correlate to me anything off the top of my head with the first two games, because it really just doesn't give you a whole lot. But Red Nun is definitely a repeated character. The Red Nun has been featured in the other Remothered games for sure. But yeah, I mean, this is a horror game. It looks like you got stalker enemies. It looks like third-person combat, coming 2026 for all major platforms. What do you think about this, Raji? Do you have any experience with the other two Remothered games, or is this something that's on your radar at all?
I have not played any of these games. It's shameful, really. You get into just a tunnel vision of a certain game genre that you just don't really play anything. But I want to change that. I might give this series a try, and hopefully, I can give you a better thought on this upcoming game.
All right, no problem. Grim, what about you? Of course, we know that you're the biggest horror video gamer out of the three
I
of
was
us.
going to say, yeah, I've played this game about 100 times. No. Like, I don't know much about the Remothered series. I do kind of like how there's like a moth, and the word moth is in Remothered during the trailer. You were talking about the enemy. It looks like it's just probably a standard enemy, honestly. I don't think that would be a stalker type. Third person horror games though are pretty good. I'll probably watch this when you play it. It looks really creepy and very, very, I guess, a little gory. It looks like at least with the when you saw the nun and everything, like what that was and what she was doing. So, but other than that, yeah, very creepy.
All right, yeah. I just for also anyone listening out there, we have or I actually have streamed both of the Remothered games on my Twitch stream, and my playthroughs are up on my YouTube. So, yeah, if you want to check out any of the previous Remothered playthroughs of the first 2 games, you can definitely check that content out at Croakitoad on the YouTube. But yeah, new Remothered game, definitely, this is on my radar. I've played the first 2, so might as well jump into the third one when it comes out at some time in 2026. Right now, there's no official release date as of now. But yeah, we're going to move on to our next game, our second to last game of this week. And this is a fan favorite friend of ours who is coming back after a long time. We love him. We all love him. And he's finally back. And I'm happy to see it. Guess what? It's here. Oh, it's here. Bubsy is here. Bubsy 4D. It's here.
Yo, remember me? Your old pal Bubsy? From all those classic games you loved.
Was it something I said? What could possibly go wrong?
Forget about that. Let's talk about the new one. Bubsy 4D! Now this I like. So, where are we going next? Don't mind if I do. Zoink! I wonder if that's more moves than that Italian plumber has. Ooh! What? Can anyone explain to me why I turn into a hairball now? They call me the Orange Blur. Do any of these outfits come with pants? You know I've only got one brain cell, right? And it's working overtime on this baby. Atari? I didn't even know they were still around.
Oh, didn't even know they're still around. Man, there's so many tongue-in-cheek little jokes in there. Mario, Sonic, he tackles everything. Gotta love Bubsy. We love him here in this community. He's kind of a meme. And this trailer doesn't actually show the release date, although I know there is actually a release date for this. I'm sure RAJI or Grem will tack that into their response to this. But in this particular trailer, it doesn't show. And the reason I know that is because this is actually, ironically enough, the game that I have set up for my donation bar right now for my live streams is Bubsy 4D, because I definitely want to play this. I want to play this, and I'm going to get this one way or the other. But I figured the community loves Bubsy so much they can kind of help contribute to see the Bubsy 4D go down if they would like to. But this looks really good. I actually completed Bubsy 3D. I know it's widely regarded as like one of the worst games of all time, right up there with like Superman 64 and Big Rigs. People often put Bubsy 3D right there in it, but I actually finished that game and completed it to the dismay of all of my viewers. But Bubsy is back. Bubsy 4D. The game looks great. I can't wait to try it. And it's Bubsy. I love all the references to the games from the original days. I love the pixel 3D costume you can choose and the cosmetics to play as. I think it's great. They just went all out on this, and they knew what they were doing with this. And I'm such a big fan of this. And I can't wait to try it out. And I'm glad to see Bubsy is back, because there for a while, the kind of the running question was like, okay, when's Bubsy coming back? Who owns the copyright of Bubsy now? Because he was kind of getting juggled around a little bit, I think, there for a little while, if I recall correctly, with like the rights and everything. But obviously Atari is publishing this game, so yeah, I'm glad to see that Fabraz is developing this game, and they picked it up, and it looks great, and I can't wait to try it out. What do you think, RAJI, about Bubsy 4D? Oh, RAJI might be. We'll pass it over to Grem here.
Oh, my bad.
Oh.
My bad. Muted. My bad. I was talking. I forgot.
Wait, hold on. Do you mean that cat got your tongue?
Yeah, yeah. What I was saying until I realized I was muted was Bubsy 4D comes out May 22nd. For those wondering, and I've actually only played Bubsy 2 on Genesis, not SNES, but Genesis, because I was a Sega man back in the day when I was younger. But that's the only experience of Bubsy I got. I know that Bubsy 3D was kind of polarizing, and hopefully Bubsy 4D turns out to be, instead of the worst game like 3D, it'd be probably, game of the year, maybe. I know it'll be your game of the year, probably.
Oh, I would love to see at the Game Awards Jeff bring it on the stage. And Game of the Year nominee, Bubsy 40. I mean, oh, yes. What do you think, Grem?
I mean, it has the chance. It just needs the people to follow through. Bubsy looks a little bit more older, and it looks like in the trailer too, he's got a potentially family now. He's a family man. He's got the shirt and tie, so it's probably like a working man as well. Seeing how it's been a while since the last Bubsy. You're right though. Like the little tongue in cheek on the little jabs like Atari, Mario, Sonic. But at the same time too, like some of the levels too look very similar to those type of games too, like Mario. There's like a Sonic like right there. It's perfect. The Rainbow Road right there as well. It was a perfect shot of what I was trying to explain. Like some of the pipe looks like Sonic bonus levels, things like that. So it's taken a lot of like the genres, and it's not trying to be serious. It's not trying to be its own thing. It's just trying to have a little fun, and hopefully the gameplay and the controls work a lot better than 3D.
I also want to point out, I really like the animation style on this game. It's like, it's not, I guess you could say half cartoon, half animated. But I really like the choice they went with on this. But yeah, Bubsy 4D definitely on our radar, and you heard it here. Next month it's coming out, and so yeah, if any of you listening want to see me get that pre-order in as soon as possible, you know where to go: twitch.tv Croakitoad, and get that donation in. All right, moving on. Our last game trailer of the podcast. This was actually a recommendation from was this, I think Grem actually recommended this himself.
This is correct.
All right. Well, we have Heroes of the Might and Magic, and I have a shameful story to tell about this game franchise, but I'll tell it after we watch the trailer. But this is called Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. This is an early access release date trailer we're going to take a look at. Looks like the game will be available early access on Steam and Xbox on PC on April 30th, so about 25 days from now. Let's take a look at the newest Heroes of Might and Magic coming out. All right, well, that's Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era coming to early access April 30th, so about 25 days from the recording of this podcast. And before I start with what I was going to say, I was just going to mention the thing that's kind of shameful about Heroes of Might and Magic with me personally is the fact I've never actually played any of these games before. And I know these games have been around forever, like the almost the origins of PC gaming. The original Heroes of Might and Magic and Might and Magic itself has been around just forever. And I've never actually quite stepped foot into this franchise before. I would really like to, starting back with the old school ones and work my way up. I know there's a ton of different games, and the other thing I was going to mention while I was watching this trailer for the first time here is that this really, and this I'm probably going to steal more thunder from Grem here, but this really gave me in some bits Warcraft 3 vibes. Like I was getting Warcraft 3 vibes from a lot of the little segments of this trailer, but it looks interesting. It looks like would you call this an RTS? I guess. I don't know. More definitely a strategy style game. It's got the it does look like Warcraft 3 in terms of like the UI of how you're playing the game and stuff. But yeah, again, I this is kind of unknown territory for me because I've not played any of the Might and Magic games, but definitely something. You all know me. I'm always open to play new stuff and broaden my horizons as a gamer. And maybe this will come up on my radar for sure. I definitely have been wanting to tackle this franchise for a long time now. RAJI, what do you think about this? Do you have any experience with Heroes of Might and Magic or Might and Magic in general?
This is gonna be another no, but I do like RTS style games, kind of like this. I like the resource management and being able to pull, just all the RTS elements you could think of. I like, but I don't have any experience with this series, so I'm horrible to ask about this.
Okay. And Grem, the person who suggested us play this, obviously because he did that, he's probably going to have played every single all 57 Heroes of Might and Magic games that have ever come out since the early 90s. Am I correct?
Oh, how did you? No, actually, no. I have not played all of them. I played a few though. Actually, first off, would be considered a TBS game or turn-based game or turn-based strategy game. Excuse me. So it's not real-time strategy. The reason why I kind of was also showing this too is that at a time, and you kind of stole a little bit with the Warcraft 3 reference, back when this genre was just kind of kicking up, like real-time strategy with like Warcraft 2. I was also into Masters of Orion 2, which is also another TBS type game. So Heroes, actually, I own this on the Game Boy Color, and that's how I really got into the Heroes of Might and Magic and just kind of like watching it and learning. It's basically it's turn-based, so each turn you can build up units, send them out. You can explore, you can find like mines, lumber mills, things of that nature. Artifacts is what you're kind of looking for at the very end, while also going against other races and factions as well. You can recruit like troops. You can build your own. It looks like in this game too, it's going to be a little bit more in terms of like, hey, if you want to build a dragon, cool, but do you want this dragon or do you want this dragon? Kind of deal. So it's a little bit more separation. I think in that video too, it looks like a little frog guy too at the bottom there. So that's not the reason why I told you to watch this or anything, but yeah, no, something like this. Turn-based strategy games have been kind of picking up a little bit more steam. I know XCOM was one of those that is kind of based like that a little bit, but it's more 3D than like a 2D hex board like Might and Magic is. So yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of, it looks really good. When I was talking about Master of Orion 2, I did pick up Master of Orion, which is like a newer version of it, and this is a couple of years ago. And I still kind of dabble in that game from time to time. So if you're just kind of looking for like a game to kind of chill and not be so stressful and just kind of want to use your brain a little bit and kind of strategize before like something really happens, before like you even have a chance to react, something like this is kind of maybe up your alley.
Okay. Awesome. Like I said, I definitely, I know these games have been around forever, like since the early days of PC gaming there for a time on some of the Might and Magic series. And so they go back way back. And these are always games that have been in the back of my mind. Like I need to finally start this, and I just have not yet done it. And In fact, I picked up a bunch of Might and Magic games on GOG, a little bit ago because they were on sale, and they were some of the really old school classic versions that I have been hanging on to the back burner to do on my Twitch and my YouTube. So it's funny you brought this up because of that. But yeah, this will be coming out early access on Steam and Xbox on PC April 30th. So about 25 days from the recording of this. And I also noticed I saw the Game Pass logo on here. So it looks like this game will also be on Xbox Game Pass as well. So there you go. For those of you that are fans of the Might and Magic, you got another one coming. All right, well, that'll do us for gaming news and trailers for this week. We're going to move over to movies, and we have 3 movies to take a look at this for episode 6 of Toad Talk. Our first one coming up, and I just have to hope that none of these are DMCA, because we ran into that issue last time, and I don't... Oh, with the Street Fighter movie trailer, we got DMCA'd there and had to re-upload the episode. So, of course, naturally, we did not look at any of these trailers to see if it might be DMCA. So fingers crossed none of these are. We can just do this one take, 'cause that's how we do this. Raw, unfiltered, and proud. One take all the way through. But here we go. Let's start off our first of 3 movies. This one's called Backrooms, and I saw this the other night, and I'm super stoked for this. I'll give my thoughts after we watch the trailer. But I really like the Backrooms games. I know there's a dime a dozen out now. Every time you turn around, there's another Backrooms game. But there's a movie coming out for it now, and I know everyone's rolling their collective eyes. Oh, boy. But you know what? Let's take a look and see if we'll give it a shot.
I found something in the store.
Okay. What did you find?
The place. I found a place.
Hello? Anyone there?
Look, I know how this sounds, but you gotta understand, it's massive in there.
I'm not saying I don't believe you.
Okay, I'm gonna come back here with proof.
All right, you feel me? Yeah.
Follow my lead.
Clark, what is this?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I've been there every night since I found the place, and I still barely scratched the surface. All right, just take it slow.
Oh my God.
Pull me up, pull me up, pull me up! What do you see?
All these rooms. This place builds them.
It's like a maze. It just goes on and on. Sometimes I'm scared I'll get lost.
Clark, can you hear me? I don't understand. What is this?
It's beautiful. Am I right?
Hello?
Well, there you go. That is called Backrooms, based on the creepypasta. I guess that's would be considered creepypasta, but the Backrooms have basically taken over in terms of like indie Steam horror the past several years. You could throw in pool rooms in there with it, right there with it. But every time you turn around, at least every time I turn around on Steam, there's another Backrooms game, be it single player, 4-player co-op, and just any kind of backroom games you can think of, you can find on Steam. It is literally the fiction of this is literally taking over the subcategory of indie horror the past couple of years. So it doesn't. I was kind of surprised when I saw a movie based on it, because I'm like, how is that going to work? But then I wasn't surprised when I saw it. I'm like, okay, yeah, that I was just waiting for this to happen, I guess. But this comes out on May 29th. So next month at the recording of time of this recording. And you know, it actually looks pretty good. I once again, I hate to be a broken record when I look at these movie trailers, but this one again looks really good. I really want to try this out and see what it's like. It doesn't show any of the monsters or the creatures that you would normally find in the Backrooms. Seems like the trailer just mostly relies on more of the ambience of the music, sending the tension up, and then the just the creepy vibes of what the Backrooms is all about, the psychological part of it. But me personally, I've played so many Backrooms games with friends in co-op or by myself that I can kind of see myself being the main character and exploring the Backrooms. So to me, it hits a little differently than probably a lot of other people. But I really like this, and definitely want to go check this out. I just hope that when I go see it, I'm not disappointed with the big reveal or whatever is going to happen at the end. I hope I don't walk away disappointed, because it didn't really touch on any of that. Or like, is the monster, if there is a monster, is it going to be like too CGI, and that's going to ruin the entire buildup of the whole movie? That's the only thing I would be kind of worried about. But the music, the way they designed the map of the Backrooms, and just the creepy factor of just like the furniture and stuff and the Christmas tree and everything, really cool. I'm really digging this. What do you think, Raji? Have you ever played any of the Backrooms games, and is this something you'd be interested in?
I mean, who hasn't played Backroom game at this point? I mean, there's so many of them out there, whether it's through, forgive me for saying Roblox, but Roblox, Gary's Mod, actual releases on Steam itself. So for a movie to be based upon Backrooms, it's interesting. The thing that stood out to me was the ladies walking through the wall. If I was in her position, I would probably be like, "Yep, nope, time to wake up. This is a nightmare." That's crazy. Yeah, but no, it should be interesting. I'm like you. Hopefully, the big reveal doesn't ruin the movie as a whole, because there's movies that it builds you up and then lets you down.
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to point out is I saw, based on the series Kane Parsons, does he have something to do with the movie development as well? I thought I saw in there in the trailer that Kane Parsons had something to do with actually the development of the movie. But I guess he's the one that takes claim for the invention of the Backrooms, is Kane Parsons. I guess he trademarked or copyrighted it early on. Good for him if that's actually the case. If I'm wrong, you guys can fact check me in the comments on that. But Grim, what are you thinking about the Backrooms movie here? Is it creepy? Does it creep you out?
A little bit. At the same time, too, I know with that music, I'm pretty confident we're gonna get DMC8 on that, hands down. The little doom, doom, doom. You know, that song. That was.
Yep.
Yeah, it was perfect. Anyways, getting back to the trailer itself, they did a really good job with the, like you said, building suspense and everything. I could kind of feel it. I also felt like almost a little claustrophobic in a way, just kind of watching the movie. I think that's the allure. It's not so much in terms of monsters, but if the trailer showed at least like what one of them would look like, or like a little snippet of it, I think it would have a little bit more confidence with the movie when it comes out in terms of how it's going to look. But from like the horror aspect of just kind of like messing with your mind a little bit, and you're like, okay, what is going on? It did a really good job. I like the old footage scene too, that you're kind of showing, where it's like a camcorder and it looks like grainy and everything like that. I think that'll add a nice little touch to the movie as well. It doesn't look like it's completely through. And what Roger was saying too, like as soon as I walk through a door like that, I would do the Homer Simpson Bush thing. I'd be like, yeah, nope, and I'm just walking right back and not even turning around, just walk on back. But yeah, I mean, the trailer did a really good job in terms of like getting that suspense started. It's just a matter of how good is this movie going to be.
And I did go back in the trailer and find what I thought I found. It does say the film is made by Kane Parsons, but then at the end of the trailer, it also says that it's a series based on the series by Kane Parsons. So it makes me wonder if we've got kind of a an Iron, what was that, Iron Lung that came out, where the guy who created the game, I guess, is also responsible for the movie. I may be getting that wrong too. But
No, it's actually he has a YouTube web series called Backrooms. There's 23 episodes to it. So he wrote it, directed it, composed it, created it, and he's actually directing this film adaptation, and it's being distributed by A24. So it's all in his mind. Yeah. So this is based off of his web series that he's got on YouTube right now.
Okay. So he's not the originator of, okay, this is the Backrooms, I created this. It was kind of like just a free just concept, like Slender Man, basically, kind of deal.
No, if you think about the Backrooms, is actually just a creepypasta that the internet has developed, and just this guy has taken that and created a mainstream web series and now a film adaptation. So
Okay.
if I know there's a big niche of people that are into creepypasta horror style things, and I think this will be a big success with that group of people.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I like go diving into it every day or anything, but when I see a good Backrooms game, I really enjoy playing them. I really like the ones with co-op as well. Just meandering around the yellow hallways and finding just the random, just so out of place furniture or things you'll find just sitting there. There's just something about it that's very creepy and just weird, and it brings that sense of like exclusion and loneliness that I don't know, I'm just a freak and I really enjoy that. So I'm really looking forward to this movie, and I hope Kane Parsons, who kind of sounds like he just took the whole Backrooms concept that was created and made it into his kind of like his little baby on his portion of what he thinks it should be. I wish him the best of luck on this, and I'll definitely be trying to go see this movie for sure. Backrooms official trailer. And I'm actually would be interested. The biggest Backrooms fan I know, a little shout out here, is Jen Von Lee. So I'm really interested to see what her thoughts are on this. I think I seem to recall asking her about this, saying, hey, look, there's a Backrooms movie, ha ha. And I think she was actually like, no, this is actually going to be really good. It actually sticks to what the lore is for the Backrooms. So I was actually shocked at her response. If I have that right, I'll have to fact check myself and come back on that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what the feelings are about this. So for those Backrooms heavy people out there that are looking forward to this. But yeah, that was Backrooms coming out in theaters nationwide May 29th. All right, moving on to our second to last movie trailer for this week. We have another recommendation. I believe this was from Grem as well, but this one is called Masters of the Universe. He-Man is back. Let's take a look at the return of He-Man.
I know most of you don't remember me, but I know all of you. Even though I was stuck light years away on Earth, I never stopped trying to get back home.
Everything changed since you left.
It's all gone. Skeletor took my family. And he destroyed our world.
It's all my fault. I know how it feels to fail. Take the sword. And when you fall, that's your chance to stand tall.
is my home. I'm gonna fight for it. But I can't do it without you.
Somebody wants to brawl.
I need every man, woman, or whatever that is.
You may have the power, but you're too scared to use it.
Trust me, I know how to use it.
You tell everyone that you're from another planet. It just makes you sound a little very crazy.
All right, well, there is He-Man. He is also back. There's a lot of stuff coming back here lately, it seems like. And you know what? Growing up, I was never really big on He-Man. Like, I recognized some of the characters that were in the trailer from the cartoon. I was never really a huge fan of it or anything. But this looks pretty good. I did see Idris Elba is a part of the supporting cast. You got Jared Leto as the Skeletor. A lot of really recognizable names in this trailer that just watching the trailer, I noticed. I know this trailer has been out for a little while. This is the first time I've actually really sat down and watched it, though. Looks like it is set for a June 5th release. I'm not sure what the response is on the internet for this, whether people are loving this and anticipating or kind of downvoting it right now. I don't really have a feel for what's going on, but just from initial looking at the trailer, and not really being that much of a He-Man fan, I think it looks pretty good, actually. Of course, I wouldn't know if it's like sticking to the you know, original story and characters and show and everything or not. But from what I've seen here as a casual fan, this looks like a fun little exciting time with some really neat and interesting characters. You got a really cool looking villain there with Skeletor. Everyone at least knows Skeletor. And I like I said, I recognize some of the side characters from just kind of browsing the cartoon back in the day. But yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. The animations, the graphics look good. The colors and everything look very vibrant, and looks like there's going to be a lot of action. And I think the guy they got for He-Man, again, I'm not a hardcore fan or anything, so I don't know what people are feeling about this, but I think he serves the role well. Maybe some people might say he's not jacked enough, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's neither here nor there. But I think for what this is, I think it looks pretty good, and I'm interested to see what the response is on this once it comes out. RAJI, what are your thoughts about Masters of the Universe? Were you ever a He-Man fan? Does this strike your fancy at all, or not really?
I say, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm down for this. This looks like a very, I mean, it doesn't look like something they're making a joke about. Like it's a serious movie based on He-Man and Skeletor, which everyone should know at this point. I think we're all old enough and been around long enough to know the memes that this cartoon has created. So, yeah, I think they did great with He-Man. Yeah, he could be a little bit more jacked, but hey, it's a movie. It's not meant to be perfect, so I can't wait for this to come out.
All right, and Grem, you recommended us to take a look at this and bring it to the podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that you do have some history growing up with He-Man, and you know a little bit more knowledge about what you saw here with the trailer. Maybe can maybe connect the dots with the original show with us a little bit here, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I mean, I had figurines or action figures growing up for He-Man. They also they did have one live action movie already, and a lot of people didn't really like it, and that's kind of like, I guess, the ending of He-Man. Somebody brought up one of the commenters during the trailer was very happy to see that it's going to be set not on Earth like the first one was, that first movie. A lot of it's going to be, trying to get, Grayskull back and everything. You had your cast of characters, including some people that you might not know. Also wanted to mention before I forget too, the trailer of launch on the 31st of March. So it's not too old, thankfully. Like for example, Trap Jaw, and you actually landed right on there. That's Trap Jaw. I mean, he looks great. He looks exactly like he should. Tila, who you saw driving the ship and everything. Man at Arms looks fine. They even had Evil Lyn as well. So a lot of the old school, and I think it was Battering Ram as well, was in one of the scenes where he's in the jail with his group, like his old citizens. I like how they kind of told the story of his mom and dad, because that doesn't really get a lot in terms of like that first movie. And I didn't see Orko, which is the that flying wizard thing that's usually red with the O on his chest. I didn't see that in the trailer, so I don't know if that's going to be there. But to you guys' point on what you said about the fact that he didn't look jacked enough, I think ultimately like he looks good as like the prince, like what you see before he pulls out the sword. I think they nailed it perfectly. That's exactly what he's supposed to look like. It's 100% perfect. And a lot of people were like, well, you could have just CGI'd his muscles and everything. It's like, yeah, but like then it wouldn't look like real, and the whole point when you were a kid, when He-Man came out, was like, oh, I have the power, and I'm going to be He-Man and everything like that. And you don't have to be buffed and everything. Skeletor looks great too. So I think ultimately they hit on a lot of the old stuff and they didn't shy away from it, which is good. They're trying to make it like a legit movie, and I'm definitely going to be down to watch this. So it looks really, really good.
Awesome. And it looks like, again, it's coming out June 5th, only in theaters, June 5th. Lots of great movies coming out this year, it seems like. Whether you're a fan of them or not, it's definitely going to be a big year for movies back in theaters again. I love to see it. I've always loved going to theaters to watch movies. It's one of my favorite hobbies to do besides gaming. And maybe this will get me out of the house and get back into the movie theaters again. All right.
Yeah, I feel like what was it, like last year and the year before, maybe last year mainly, a lot of movies didn't really like hype you up. I mean, there was a few, don't get me wrong, but I feel like this year there's been a lot of strong movies. So definitely if you are shy about like going to the movies because you're like, oh, this is going to suck, definitely take out a lot of these trailers too, because again, it's a really strong year.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we have one more trailer to check out. And this movie actually just came out. What are we doing here? Oh, there we go. I don't know what my YouTube is doing here. It's the Super Mario Galaxy movie, if my browser will work here, so we can watch this.
I think on the right you can see it, and then just click on it. It's like one up from what we had. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what is going on here with this. All right, but we have Super Mario Galaxy movie, which is the second? Is this the second or the third? No, it's the second one, isn't it?
The second movie.
The second movie behind the 2023 Super Mario Brothers movie, which I did watch, so I know what it's all about and everything. I thought that this may be a hot take, maybe it won't be, but I thought that the 2023 Super Mario Brothers movie that they did, Chris Pratt, who's Mario, Jack Black, who's Bowser, Anya Taylor-Joy, who's Peach, Charlie Day, who's Luigi. I thought that movie was probably one of the better video game movie adaptations that they have ever done. Now, I don't know if that's a hot take or if most people are going to agree with that. I'll ask RAJI Grem's thoughts after the trailer, but I feel like that was probably one of the better video game to movies that they've ever done before. So they came out with a second one. It came out 4 days ago, April 1st. It's not an April Fool's joke. But let's take a look at this, the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And everyone that I've seen come away from this movie has said it was really good. It was just as good as the first one. So I'm really stoked and excited to check this one out.
There's a huge universe out there. With a lot of galaxies.
Everyone out of here! Go, go, go!
Mamma mia.
I demand that you release my father.
Over my dead body.
Fine with me.
My Koopas! Your king has returned!
Long live the king! The Bowser name shall be feared once more! Oh no!
Everyone calm down.
Toad, pack our things.
Let's go.
Let's go!
Oh, princess, you're going to regret that.
Hello, maggots.
All right, that man, that's the first time I've actually seen that trailer, and I want to go watch this right now. This looks so good. I have to admit, I'm not the biggest or the, I'm not the biggest Mario fan out there or anything, but I can, as a gamer, I can appreciate the Mario franchise. For a lot of us, that's where we got our start, just as kids getting our foot in the door, playing video games. And I can see why everyone's coming back from this in my community saying, yeah, it was really good. You need to go check it out. I can totally see it just from the trailer. I got really hyped for this. You got Rosalina in there. I even heard some spoilers. I'm not going to say it on the podcast about some other fellow Nintendo franchise characters showing up and like an Easter egg sense. Again, I'm not going to mention any of that on the podcast, but I heard about this and I'm like, oh, wow, that's like really cool. They're almost doing like a Marvel universe thing with Nintendo right now, bringing in other franchises now, which I think it's awesome. I think this is absolutely great. A Marvel universe kind of thing for Nintendo, I think is awesome, and I think it's going to sell good. I hope this movie sells good and did well at the box office and everything. But yeah, it came out April 1st. And I also noticed that Wart from Super Mario Brothers 2 made a cameo in there. How about that? I like that. All right. Well, I'm 100% all in on this. I can't wait to go check it out and go watch this. Raji, what do you think about this? Did you catch the first one? Did you think that my opinion is right about it being one of the best, probably top 3 best video game movie adaptations ever created before?
Yeah, I mean it's when it comes to grossing, it's the number one grossing video game film adaptations of all time. And that took a lot because they had excuse me. Before Mario took over, the highest grossing was Warcraft and Sonic, obviously, and then Mario took over after that. After Sonic. So I love the first movie. I'm hyped for this one. We can't wait to see it. I think what you're thinking about, another character, has already been confirmed and spoiled by Nintendo. There's a poster floating around with him on it. But we'll let them figure it out. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see this in theaters. I plan on doing this actually, I think this week, maybe.
Awesome. Well, next week you'll have to let us know what your thoughts were of it. I think I'm going to try to hit this up this week as well. So maybe we'll both see it before next week's podcast, and we'll both come back with our thoughts about what we thought about it. And then maybe Grem and Ash can go see it too sometime this week before next weekend. All right, Grem, what do you think about this one?
Well, you kind of stole a little bit of my thunder. I honestly think it's great. It looks amazing. You were talking about Wart from Super Mario Brothers 2, which I thought was funny because like you talked about, this is the second movie. Not only that, but you saw Birdo and you saw Ninji as well from the Super Mario Brothers 2. So obviously they didn't shy away from that being part of the Mario Brother legacy as well, even though a lot of people don't really have much good things to say about Super Mario Brothers 2 when the video game came out. And then of course like Rosalina. This looks amazing. Now it is kind of weird getting the voices. But Toad sounds really, really, really good. So yeah, I think this is awesome. It looks great. Maybe Ash and I will go actually see it. Then all three of us can be like, hey, so we actually all saw this movie.
Absolutely. Yeah, it just looks like an overall. I'm getting kind of choked up thinking about it. That doesn't
very
happen.
wholesome, right?
It's very wholesome, and I think for a lot of us that are in this like age bracket of gamers, we just always think back to getting our first Nintendo and Mario was there, or our first Super Nintendo and Super Mario World was there, and it just brings us back to better times.
And you were talking about this too. I wanted to kind of touch real quickly on it, like spoilers and other game. Why not? This is supposed to be a video game movie. You know what? Like, let's have a little fun with it. We always talked about like games too. Oh, I wish game A and game B would do like a mashup and everything. But we get it in a movie form. Like, I'm totally down for that. I can't wait to see it.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, maybe all three of us will have seen it, and we'll report back next weekend and give our thoughts about what we thought about the movie. I think that'd be a really fun little homework assignment for us. Okay, well, that'll wrap up our movie news for this week. We had a lot of games and a lot of movies to go through. That's basically going to be the chunk of our podcast, I really feel like, because in the sports world, we are going to switch over to that now. We do have in the March Madness, we've been kind of talking along through the March Madness brackets from the very beginning, the week before it started. And now we are all down to the Final Four, and then now the finals itself, where we are down to Michigan, number 1 seed Michigan, taking on number 2 seed UConn. And I predicted this on last Tuesday's podcast. I said it was going to come down to Michigan and UConn. And I said Michigan's gonna take it the whole way because of their amazing track record from the very first round, when they just started doing that kill streak of beating teams by 20 points or around within that threshold. And they did the same thing within that threshold. The number 1 seed Arizona as well in their Final Four matchup on yesterday, as a matter of fact. And so now we have the final matchup in the championship in Indianapolis. It'll be Michigan versus UConn on tomorrow at basically 8 o'clock. And it's all led to this. I wonder how many people out there had pinned in Michigan and UConn as the final on their brackets. It should be an interesting game. I'm still pulling for Michigan on this, but I know it's going to be fun to watch. And everything's all led up to this now. Raji, what are your thoughts about how everything has wrapped up here for March Madness 2026?
I'm surprised that the Arizona-Michigan game ended the way it did, 91-73. Just I thought it was gonna be a lot closer. I thought it was gonna be a lot more physical, and yeah, that was crazy. So, sorry, Grem. I hope Michigan wins because I cannot stand UConn to get another one so close to their back-to-back. It makes me sick.
All right, and on that segue, we'll send it over to Grem. And what is your rebuttal to that?
Well, I'm sorry to burst your all's bubble, but hey, I mean, first off, congrats to UConn again, going back to the championship game, and they haven't missed a beat, which is really crazy to me. But a little tidbit too: Michigan now has scored 90 points or more in 5 consecutive games in the tournament. They're the first team to do that. I know we talked about it last week that they tied UConn for scoring 90 in a tournament 4 times. Can they complete the I guess the last stage of the race at this point, right? They would be the first and only team to have done it, you know, in all 6 games in the NCAA tournament if they can score 90 or more points. At the same time, too, if they are to do that, I don't feel like UConn is going to score more than they would. But at the same time, too, I was quite shocked, too, that, you know, with Michigan and Arizona, I felt like the winner of that game was going to probably be the national champion. But at the same time, too, it's UConn. I have to pull for them. I'm glad that they beat Illinois. But at the same time, too, this is going to be one really tough matchup. And I think it's really the matchup everyone wanted to see as well. When you got down to like the Elite Eight and even into the Final Four, you're like Michigan and UConn. They're going to be the best teams, hands down, for this national championship game. And that's what we got. So, you know, whatever team wins is probably going to be the more deserving team for sure.
I'm going to put you guys on the spot right here because this was not a predetermined question at all. I'm just asking it right now. But has Michigan ever won a March Madness before?
The last time they won was the whenever they had the Fab Five.
Okay.
Which, if you want to know, was, I believe, the last time they won was 1989.
Okay.
And they had it, which is what funny because they had an interim head coach for the championship game. So,
wow.
Since that victory, they've appeared in the national championship game 6 times, including recently 2013 and 2018. They are 1-6 in national championship games.
Dang it. They said the most outstanding player was Glenn Rice. That's a throwback name.
Jeez. So they don't have a very, very good track record when they get to the finals. But maybe that'll turn around here against UConn. Who knows? Man, knowing that stats, that just makes the game even spicier. Knowing.
Well, let's on the flip side, let's look at UConn. Let's look at their. Actually, let's probably not because
you're just gonna make yourself angry.
Since 1999, UConn has won 6 national championships in men's basketball, and they were the first school to win back-to-back championships since 06 and 07, when they won in 23 and 24. They've won national championships under 3 different coaches: Jim Calhoun, Kevin Ollie, and Dan Hurley. And then when we get to the women's side, obviously that'll just shoot up straight out the window. So.
Yeah, and a little tidbit: Dan Hurley is 20-5 now in the NCAA tournament. He is 2-0 in national championship games, by the way, and he is 5-0 in Final Fours.
Wow.
Yeah. Good luck,
so
Michigan.
It's going to be a good one. It really will be.
All right. Well, we got a video playing here. All right. Well, we were going to switch on over just to quickly recap the women's brackets right now. Who do we have going in right now on the women's side?
UCLA and UConn.
Oh, UCLA and UConn. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No,
UCLA and South Carolina. Sorry, I forgot.
No.
I forgot. Sorry. I'm sorry. I've been on a UConn rant.
You got UConn on the mind. You got UConn on the mind. I'm sorry. After Oklahoma, why am I even bringing this up? I don't want to talk about it. Oklahoma and South Carolina, I just kind of out on the women's side. So you'll have to pardon me on that. But who you guys got on the women's side? UCLA or South Carolina?
South Carolina, 100%.
I mean, I'm 75% South Carolina. I mean, UCLA has only lost 1 game this year, so I mean, that's a pretty good record. But I mean, South Carolina is just they're always so good. I mean, it's hard to go against them.
South Carolina's won 3 national championships: 2017, 2022, and 2024, all under Coach Dawn Staley. She is an amazing. Their 2024 championship was a 38-0 season. She's an amazing coach. Over on UCLA side, I mean, right now, Coach Corey Chase. She's pretty. They get that team going.
And then their only loss was actually to Texas in the regular season, and they just actually won. So, like, UCLA technically is taking on a team that hasn't beaten them. So, It'll be an interesting one for the women's side. I believe that's an hour or so.
Yeah, it starts at 2:30 p.m. today if you're listening to this on Easter. Obviously, if you listen anytime this game has already happened, you can go check the results. But I think as much as I think this game's going to trick everybody. I think it's one of those games we think is going to be close, but I think it's going to be a blowout. And I think South Carolina's going to just run away with it, especially after what occurred yesterday or the day before, whenever Coach Ariemo from UConn kind of blew up at Don Staley post game, and it kind of fired that whole team up. I think they're coming in today to play with a chip and attitude after what happened after that game against UConn. So it's going to be interesting to see. My money is on South Carolina.
There's been a lot of I think that's been bigger news than the results of the matches on the women's side, is just all the commotion going on with all the coaches. Because you had, what was it, the UConn coach with the brand new blown up basketballs or whatever there for, was it the UConn coach that was blowing up about that? Every time you turn around, it was one of the coaches talking about this or talking about that off the court. I think there's been more news about all of that stuff than the actual games.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens on the ladies' March Madness here in about an hour or whatever from the recording of this podcast. And then the men's tomorrow, we'll recap on the two big winners on next week's podcast and let you know our thoughts on that. We've been following March Madness from the very get-go, the week before it even started, and it's all led to this. We got the two big...
Fun note. UCLA's only loss on the year, came against a team who has also beaten the other team playing for national championships, South Carolina, and that would be the Texas Longhorns. The Texas Longhorns beat UCLA and South Carolina back-to-back, 76-65, 66-64, back-to-back weeks in the regular season.
Yeah, that's why I'm not putting all my eggs on South Carolina. Like I said, 75%, I'm sure that they're going to win, but UCLA does have a fighting chance, I feel.
Also, I believe they went on to beat South Carolina in the conference tournament as well. I could be wrong. Yes, they beat them in the tournament final to win the SEC tournament. So maybe South Carolina doesn't have this. I don't know. So 2 of South Carolina's losses came at the hands of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely brings the whole the thing with the Michigan streak in the finals, and then now this really makes it a lot more interesting, a lot more spicier.
Let's make this even more interesting. South Carolina's third loss actually came against Oklahoma.
Oh yeah. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
We had to add that little bit into it, didn't we?
Boomer Sooner, baby. All right. Well, all eyes are going to be on the 2 final matches tonight and tomorrow. We'll let you know what we thought about the 2 championship games next week. But that'll basically wrap up March Madness. And then we'll also, just to give you guys a heads up out there who like switching over to listen to our sports talk. I think starting next week, we were going to start diving a little bit more into the NBA, I believe, because the season is kind of transitioning over to the final tail end.
Yes, the season ends next week, so we'll kind of do like a preview for the playoffs.
Yes, and I can't wait for that because, oh yeah, thunder up, baby. And then are there just for anyone listening, are there any other sports kind of happenings going on right now that our listeners can be ready for starting next week? I mean, it's like NHL or Major League Baseball or anything really.
MLB just started, so they're about a week in. The UFL's finishing up their second week, and hockey has about like 2 more weeks left of the regular season before their playoffs begin.
Okay, so kind of everything's kind of going on, but nothing's really going on right now, other than March Madness wrapping up and NBA heading into the tail end of the season. So, but we'll definitely keep you guys posted on the March Madness finale, and then kind of give a little brief synopsis of what's going on in the NBA for next Tuesday, probably for the sports world. But we couldn't talk about sports without talking about professional wrestling. And we're not going to go through all of the results of Raw and SmackDown this week. We are going to kind of follow Danhausen's movements throughout the past week, and we'll start off with Danhausen showing up on the Monday Night Raw, the March 30th episode, and confronting our fellow Twitch streamer and content creator iShowSpeed, who showed up on Monday Night Raw, which unraveled into a whole thing that we'll get into. But we'll play the clip here of Danhausen and iShowSpeed confronting each other, and then iShowSpeed begging Danhausen to take the curse, remove the curse.
Where is he at? I need to talk to him right now. Who? Danhausen. You. Man, where you been at? My life has been a disaster. I've been missing flights, late to events. Come on, bro. Uncurse me now, please.
Uncurse you? Maybe for a price. $10 million, no, $1 billion. And the rights to your streaming services, and give me one of your personal assistants and a camera boy for myself.
You know I can't do that. Absolutely no.
Okay, Speed, listen. Let's not worry about curses. As a matter of fact, not everything is bad. Tonight I got your front row seats for the Usos in the Division for the tag titles. It's a street fight. Oh, and we have a special guest commentator.
Oh, hey.
What's up, my man?
How you doing?
I'm great, man. You taking care of this guy with good seats?
I am. I'm trying to.
I'm gonna go talk that talk. Yeah. Aren't you supposed to disappear?
Oh, yeah.
That's so good, man. That was I know a lot of people didn't really know how to take him. We covered this when he first showed up on the pay-per-view, that people just didn't really know how to take to him. But I think now that they've let him run with what he's good at and taken the handcuffs off of what his gimmick is and what he does best at, I think people are really starting to warm up to him. You heard the cheers from the crowd. I think it's great. All the things I've seen with Danhausen has been great, comedy gold. And man, what a great investment that they had bringing Danhausen in. And so now he's got a little bit of a thing going on with iShowSpeed here, which led to a tag team title match on Monday Night Raw, which you heard there. But before we get into that, I think it might be best to talk about his appearance here, where he shills the return of Saturday night's main event. Actually, I don't think we'll play this whole clip because it's kind of long, but and maybe Grem and RAJI can kind of talk about that. But yeah, he also showed up and told the WWE Universe that Saturday night's main event will be back to Madison Square Garden on the same night as well. So I guess he made that special announcement for everybody. And then he did the front row seat with iShowSpeed in the front row seat for the tag team title match as well for Monday Night Raw, which led into something else, which we're going to watch after this. But before we get into that step, I'll leave it to RAJI or Grem if they want to add anything to that, what happened on Monday Night Raw there in that situation.
I mean, iShowSpeed still shocks me on just how smooth and fluent he is through all of this. It's good to see LA Knight still over as well. Yeah. But other than that, no, I mean, everything was perfect. You hit it right on the nose though. Like they really picked up someone really good for just WWE, and Danhausen is just blown up. And this is what you do sometimes when you just let your talent be the talent that they have. It's so natural, it's so funny, and everyone's enjoying it.
So basically what happened leading up to that clip we just heard was that he had actually cursed iShowSpeed, and then since that time to that clip, you heard him say that he had been cursed and things were happening to him. He's missing flights and everything. So he was like basically saying, uncurse me, please. And of course, Danhausen would not do it, which led to iShowSpeed sitting at ringside for a tag team title match between the Usos and who was it?
It was Logan Paul and Austin Theory, and had obviously the special commentator was LA Knight. The Usos and LA Knight have had their problems with the vision, if you will. So it was a tag team match. Logan Paul wanted to get some brass knucks from, I think, his mom. I think that's what they said. And iShowSpeed's like, dude, you don't need that. Like, you're Logan Paul. What are you doing? And so Logan Paul and iShowSpeed were kind of like fighting for the brass knucks. And then I think LA Knight grabs Logan Paul, and Logan Paul grabs iShowSpeed, drags him over the barricade, and LA Knight takes care of Logan Paul. And then iShowSpeed picks up the knucks, and then LA Knight's like, hey, man, you got to get back over there. And iShowSpeed just turns around and wallops LA Knight with the brass knucks. And ultimately, Logan Paul and Austin Theory become the tag team champions. And they're like grabbing iShowSpeed, like, hey, man, that was great. You did great. And iShowSpeed's like, no, this is not what I wanted. I'm cursed. Don't do this to me. This is not what I want. I'm not a wrestler. And they're holding him up. They're like, no, we'll protect you kind of deal. And iShowSpeed is just like, his reaction is just amazing. Like, he's just like, dude, I don't want to be a part of this. What is going on?
That's great. And the fact that oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that poor guy was getting flashbacks when he got speared out of his shoes by Braun Breaker a couple years ago in the Royal Rumble, and he's like, I don't want to do this.
What I was gonna say is it's kind of funny that the whole person responsible behind this is like not even in the forefront, and that's Danhausen.
Yep, exactly. And that's good storytelling, though.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so that led to Logan Paul and Austin Theory winning the tag team titles. Obviously, LA Knight had a bone to pick on the situation, which led to an iShowSpeed live stream on his Twitch channel, I believe. And do you think we can play this whole clip without DMCA? Do you think that'd be fine?
I don't think there was any music that was played at all. So yeah, it'd be okay, I would assume.
Okay. Well, LA Knight showed up on an iShowSpeed Twitch stream, and I think this might be the first time ever that WWE has ever acknowledged a Twitch stream in terms of like airing content to a content. I know WWE has a Twitch channel, but in terms of like making it into a storyline, making a gimmick out of it, this might be the first time that they've ever like kind of acknowledged this to this extreme. So this is really cool. We're all Twitch streamers. We're all wrestling fans. So it's kind of cool to see the two come together here. But yeah, this is LA Knight showing up on an iShowSpeed Twitch stream here.
Chat, make me laugh, Speed. LA Knight, how'd you get in my house? Man, I'm actually surprised how easy it was to get in here. I just happened to be in the neighborhood. How the hell you get in my house? I got in your house. Don't worry about that. The bottom line is I'm here because, well, you showed up on my show. I figured I'd just go ahead and show up on your show. How you doing, chat? I knew you were live streaming. That's how I knew you were here. So what I'm thinking is just, look, I don't know how you feel.
Okay, actually, real quick, I'm noticing the logos in the chat here on the video, and it looks like he's streaming to YouTube, not Twitch. You may correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think this is a YouTube stream he's streaming to, but we'll fact check that.
About Logan Paul, it seems like you guys are pretty tight, huh?
No, I didn't mean to get involved. And Chad knows this.
No.
I didn't mean to get involved.
You gotta understand something here. No matter how tight you are with Logan Paul or not, I don't agree with the guy too much, but what he told you, you made a lot of enemies. You made some pretty big enemies this past Monday on Raw.
No, man, come on, man. You know I'm cursed. Come on, brother. No, I don't want to get involved, man. Listen, I don't like Chad. Y'all know I didn't mean to.
No. It's a little too late for that. You're already involved. You stepped in it. You don't understand. Here you were, just sitting there. You cost the Usos are tag team titles. Then you're out there celebrating with the Vision like it's a little bachelorette party.
I know.
Your favorite stripper's about to come
out. I'm sorry,
but then the one thing that you did, the biggest mistake that you made, the shot heard around the world. You got the little brass knucks. You got excited about them, and what you do? You hit me with them.
I'm sorry.
You hit me. No. It's too late for sorry.
Okay, what I gotta do? What do I gotta do? What do I gotta do?
I tell you what. Let's talk to the chat. Chat, what do you think? Is he involved? I think you're going to see a whole lot of people say, yeah, he's involved. Yeah, he's involved.
Chat, no.
It's too late. You have stepped in at this point, my man.
Chat, y'all know, please, y'all. Come on, man. I didn't mean to do it. Listen, I'm not involved in this. This is not my mess. What I got to do? What do I have to do for us to be cool on equal terms?
Let's take it down for a second. Let's relax. Let's just relax. I'm going to take a seat. Here.
I'm sorry, though. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't mean to punch you.
No. The whole thing.
And, I don't want to get involved, and Chad knows this. I don't want to get involved. I'm not a bad person.
The whole thing with the knucks and all that, I'm just going to need a receipt for that.
What the? Shit!
Okay, that's actually the first time I've actually seen the entirety of that. Wow, that is so wild. Again, we're all streamers, whether that was Twitch or I think that was a YouTube, but nevertheless, we're all streamers, and to be wrestling fans and streamers at the same time, to see wrestling cross that threshold into live streaming like that, gaming live streaming, is just so wild to me. Like that LA Knight shows up in, I can just like picture LA Knight showing up into my streaming room and then cutting a little promo on me, talking to me, and then throwing me into my setup and knocking everything over. I will admit, like, iShowSpeed is a good fit for WWE. His acting there at the end was a little cheesy, but for the most part, I think he's from what the things I've seen, he's done good job there. And then him just getting yeeted into the monitor, into the webcam and stuff, that was good. That was really done well. I like that. And I'm sure he was, he's an agile guy. He's probably up for anything, and he can probably afford his setup 10 times over at this rate. So it was no harm, no foul, and if anything was damaged or not. But that's really cool. I'm liking to see this integration between these two worlds, and I'm wondering if it's actually bringing any chatter and interest from the Twitch or the gaming sphere to come over to watch WWE. I'm sure that's what they're trying to hope for, is get the rub from the younger community, the younger audience that may not be wrestling fans, that's more into gaming and not really into wrestling, a la like 90% of Croakitoad Pro Wrestling right now anyway, or those 90s wrestling fans who got lost along the way like myself. Try to bring them back in and get them back into the wrestling universe again. But I thought that was really cool way to integrate the two realms together. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else they do in the future when it comes to live streamers and in WWE like this. And before I pass it off to RAJI and Grem, I'm just curious, did they air this on any WWE programming, or was this its own independent thing that was like uploaded to like social media and stuff?
I think this is just a social media thing.
Okay, so they like didn't like air this on like SmackDown, or like this is
No,
what
I'm
happened
sure.
at
I'm sure we'll
iShowSpeed's house.
see it. I'm sure we'll see it in a build up to whatever they decide to take to WrestleMania with this.
Yeah, probably on Raw coming up tomorrow, probably. But at the same time, too, for WWE, also, like you were saying, to actually show this on their own YouTube like channel, like you literally write on WWE.com to show a invasion, if you will, of like wrestlers getting into the world of like streamers, basically. That's huge. It's a huge step. But that's the step that you should take if you're WWE. You want those viewers. You want those people to start tuning into your product.
Yeah, I it's just still surreal to me to see, like, because it's like two corners of basically my life. Like, I used to watch wrestling religiously in the 90s, and I still kind of keep a finger on the pulse on it a little bit, but obviously I'm a huge streamer, so it's just so wild to see those two universes come together here in this. My mind's still trying to figure that all out. But yeah, that's really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with this, leading into WrestleMania, which is what, 2 weeks away now. So
yeah, something like that. Yep.
Yeah, so interesting to see what they're going to do with that. Whether iShowSpeed gets a match, if he's like a special outside enforcer or something like that, with his involvement with the Vision and Logan Paul, who's also a content creator and everything like that. So yeah, will be definitely interesting to see how that goes. Real quick before we pull away from WWE here, we did have the big reveal, Randy Orton storyline reveal, that it was like Pat McAfee, who was the voices in his head that called him on the phone and was telling him to do all this stuff. Real quick, just brushing on this, did you guys feel yes or no, thumbs up, thumbs down, that Pat McAfee was a good choice to reveal as the whole Randy Orton on the phone call and making him turn heel on Cody thing.
It was a good lie. We all know that's not the actual guy he was talking to. He was talking to himself.
I love that. I really hope that that's. I don't know if that's going to be because McAfee went on that giant rant and everything and cut that giant promo and stuff. But in a funny world, that would be really funny. That's what happening. What about you, Grem? Pat McAfee, thumbs up, thumbs down?
I mean, the problem is that Pat McAfee is well liked, and it's hard for him to kind of, flip the switch on being the heel role as much as he tried on SmackDown. So, like I said, I'm kind of neutral towards it. I just don't think he was the right fit. But at the same time, too, I don't think also he's the one that was Randy Orton was calling. I think that might probably be like a bluff kind of situation.
Okay, well, we'll definitely see how Pat McAfee fits into the whole Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes thing leading into WrestleMania. Like we said, we have 2 weeks to figure that out, and you had Stephanie McMahon thrown in there in the middle of it as well, showing up at Madison Square Garden on Raw to try to pull out some last minute McMahon views there in their hometown. But we have one other bit of wrestling news before we end off with Croakitoad community stuff. And that was flipping back over to AEW. Of course, the big talk of the town in the wrestling universe and the wrestling world for, how long has it been now since his last appearance? Probably half a year, maybe longer?
Probably longer, honestly.
Yeah. So Chris Jericho has been MIA from all accounts. And we remember back when we first started the podcast, I think our very first episode, we talked about the crate that showed up. And in hindsight, we all know it's Danhausen that came out of the crate now. But everyone was clamoring for it to be the return of Chris Jericho to WWE after how many years hiatus since he went to AEW. But it turned out not to be the case. Danhausen ended up doing what he's doing, and he's doing a great job at it. And it all worked out just fine for him. But then Chris Jericho showed back up out of nowhere on AEW Dynamite on April Fools, and knowing Chris Jericho, that was probably well timed and well planned. And to also kick that off, they were also to put the cherry on top of it being April Fools for AEW Dynamite. They were actually in Winnipeg, which is his, I believe, his birth city where he was born. So he came back home basically to Canada on this episode of Dynamite, and then just made his big return after everyone was thinking he was going to go back to WWE. The big WWE retirement tour was going to start for Jericho, and he's going to go back there. Nope, not the case. He's back in AEW again, and we'll just have to see where he goes from here. What were you guys' thoughts on Jericho deciding to stick with AEW and not go back to WWE? You think this is the right call? Do you think this is good for his career at this point? Or do you think he should have negotiated with Trips and went back to WWE?
It's actually been almost a whole year since he last appeared on AEW, because it was last April at Dynasty whenever he lost the ROH World Championship to Bandito, and that's when he stepped away. So it makes sense for him to come back to AEW, something he knows. Yeah, I probably would have loved a WWE retirement tour, but at the same time, we all know that TKO is probably not on his good side or his good list. Something always political or something happened. So whatever's best for him, I guess I'm happy with. It's good to see he's happy.
I think with Chris Jericho, maybe it's just not a matter of that. It was a matter of like he's not ready to retire. And I know a lot of people are like, dude, like you got to hang it up. But I feel like, Chris is like, hey, I can still go. And AEW gives him his best course of like still being in the wrestling circle compared to like WWE is like, hey, we're just going to bring you in, you're going to retire, and then you'll just do a bunch of like backstage stuff and you won't be on TV anymore. Whereas AEW is like, no, well, even if you do decide to just hang it up, we'll still have you on TV. Like you can do whatever you want. You can be a announcer, you can be a commentator, you can be backstage, whatever. They might even give him an authority role. AEW was much more probably willing to make him more of a, hey, you're going to be still part of wrestling, whereas WWE was probably like, yeah, we're just going to run this tour, you're going to retire, and then we'll see you at the Hall of Fame.
Right. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that. AEW is probably going to be more lax on allowing him to wrestle a lot longer and give him the freedom to do what he wants to do, which is how I think Jericho works best anyway. So I think, and probably the schedule's a lot lighter for AEW than it is for WWE as well. So that probably also helps too with him, with his decision there. But you know, WWE is WWE, and a lot of fans were holding out hope that he'd make a return there, but didn't end up happening. And we'll see if that ever actually comes to fruition, or is this where he's going to ride off into the sunset one last time in a few years' time. All right, but that'll wrap up our wrestling news for this week. All we have left now to do is our community news, and I'm hearing that Raji's on a time crunch because of Easter plans. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of switch gears here and start off with the Q&As that we did last Tuesday. Of course, me and Graham already answered all of these questions, so this should be like kind of really quick to get through because these are literally all for Raji. All your questions that you asked for last week for us, Miss Coke Soda Can filled in and answered his part in the seat of Raji, but this week we got him back, so we'll just quickly run through all these questions real quick and see what his responses are to your questions that you posted in our official Discord server on the Croakitoad Discord in the Toad Talk. So if you're ready, Raji, let me know and I will just start rapidly firing these off to you.
Let's go.
All right, first question comes from Ali D 1992. She asked you, this is actually for all of you, which we answered on last week's episode. What made you want to start a podcast together?
It's just, I think with all the stuff we've been through in the years, we've known each other for 10 plus years now. It just made sense to come together and do a weekly podcast, you know, just getting our opinions on various stuff, gaming, movies, sports, all that. It just made sense.
Okay, next question comes from Nope, it's Nate. He asks you, what is your favorite QuakeCon memory?
Probably streaming live. I believe I was streaming live on Facebook or whatever at the time, and when I walked into the bathroom, I wasn't filming the bathroom. Let's get that correct. I wasn't filming, but I was filming myself, and I walked in there, flushed the toilet, and it flooded the whole bathroom, and I walked right out like nothing happened.
I was actually there, and I can actually confirm that is what happened. Next question comes from Azarain. He asks, if there was one change you could do to make to your personality and you must pick one, what would you change?
My gamer ADD or ADHD, whatever you want to call it, just being not able to focus on one game for a certain amount of time. Just if I could touch one game and not do anything else till I beat it, that would be the one. I mean, this is my personality. Everyone knows me. I have gamer ADD. I'll play one game for 5 minutes and I'm already on a different game. You guys have seen it firsthand.
Okay, next question comes from Endo Girl 1982. She asks you, do you have a favorite food joint for people to check out in your area if they are ever there?
Oh, Whataburger.
That's everywhere, man. Is there not a specific place there? Like a family joint? Or
most places we like, it's just a national food chain. It's kind of hard because I rarely go to local mom and pop stuff. So,
okay. Next question comes from Fuse Force Spence. He asks, over the years, you brought many pro wrestling dream matches to life with your show TCW. With the current state of pro wrestling, what do you think would be the greatest dream match and why? I think he means real life. Okay.
Yeah, so I believe if we're talking about dream matches, considering everybody dead or alive, I would love to see a match. Hear me out here. I would love to see an actual legit. This is probably taking the piss on this, but I would actually love to see a legit wrestling match between The Undertaker and AJ Styles. I think we got robbed of that dream match, so that's still my dream match to this day. Just to see a legitimate wrestling match in a ring in front of people between them two.
Okay. Next question comes from Signified. He said, what was your biggest goal growing up? And if you've achieved that goal, what is your next goal in life?
Biggest goal growing up was to, at the time, become a doctor. That changed fairly quickly after getting my first responder certification. I changed my mind fairly quickly on that, and now my next goal in life is to just, what everyone else's goal is, pretty much, is to chase that American dream and not worry about debt.
It's a fair goal. Next question comes from Puerto Rican Chipmunk. She says, who inspired you to start streaming, and what was the first game you ever... I think she meant what was the first game you ever streamed. So who inspired you to start streaming, and what was the first game you ever streamed?
It wasn't actually a person. I'll just quickly tell you the story of how this started. I remember playing Resident Evil 4 on PS2, and I was a big person that needed to use walkthroughs because I would rent games that only have them for 3 days, so I wanted to beat them before I take them back. And I came across these videos on YouTube that showed gameplay and a walkthrough, no one talking over it, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I want to try to do that." And I kind of looked into it more, and I found this streaming channel. They were called Woodalizer at the time on Justin.tv, and I was watching them. I just realized it was live, real time, people chatting to this person playing games. They were playing Left 4 Dead 2, and that got me to go out and get a Dazzle DVC 100 from Walmart. And the first game I ever streamed without a capture card with my webcam pointed at the TV was Dead Rising on Xbox 360. So, but yeah, that's how I got inspired to do it.
Okay. Our next series of questions comes from Zozakin, and his first question he asked you is, in a game like Mafia or Among Us, or what was that game we said, the one with the witches and the pilgrims?
Town of Salem.
I can never remember it. And a game like Mafia, Town of Salem, or Among Us, who among you, that being us three, would be the most convincing killer that would not get voted out or found out?
Graham.
His next question is, what is the kindest thing a stranger has ever done for you?
Paid for my Taco Bell drink, even though it made me mad.
Next question is, what do people often underestimate about you before they really get to know you?
I guess my personality. Like, they think I'm this big monster jerk, but I'm actually not. I'm completely polar opposite.
His next question is, what is the silliest hill you'll die on? And he says, an example, for me, toilet paper goes over, never under.
The silliest hill I will die on, this is just coming from a truck driver thing, is it's much more safer to get out of a truck going forward toward, like, facing forward away from the truck than it is to face toward your truck and step down one step at a time.
I could agree with that.
So it's like leaving the truck like you're walking downstairs instead of like backing yourself away from the truck.
Just for reference, last week, mine, and you'll appreciate this. You probably heard it anyway, but my answer was that Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City gets too much hate. That was mine.
No, speed run, baby.
And Grem said I stole that from him because that was going to be his answer too.
Yep.
All right. His next question is, what underrated thing, game, sports team, software, restaurant, etc., is so good that you cannot believe everyone is sleeping on it?
Ooh, that's a hard one because I don't know. There's so many.
For reference,
There's so much.
For reference, my answer last week was fried okra.
Oh, so anything. I'm not gonna steal your answer, even though that was a good answer. Fried okra is amazing. This is the hard one. You know what? I don't know. I want to say apple fritters. I think I don't hear a lot of people talk about apple fritters, and that's one of my favorite donut pastries ever.
Okay. And his last question from Zozakin is, if you could get advice to your 18-year-old self, what would you say?
Don't ever try going to college.
Okay. Our next group of questions come from Ashterial. Her first is, what is your favorite class in WoW? Not like your main, but your favorite just to screw around on.
Monk.
Okay. Her next question is if there was one game you had to pick to only play for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It would have to be World of Warcraft.
That was Grem's answer last week too.
Yeah, it would have to be WoW. I can't see any other game I could play for that long.
It's a good answer because there's always, like I said last week, there's always constantly something coming out for it. So, and her Ashtira's last question is, what is your favorite sport and the team for that sport?
College football, the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Okay, and our
Yeah.
next three questions come from Michael Tyson in not Mike Tyson, but Michael Tyson in our Discord. His first question is, did you see the 4-1 win for FaZe Vegas becoming Major 2 champions?
Who?
That was basically our answer too. I guess it's esports, MLG esports was his question there.
Okay.
His second question is, what is your Waffle House order?
I've only ever been there once, and I think I got the All-American. I was with you, and that's my order.
Wait, that was you never
that was
been?
my first time. Yeah, that was my first time ever being Waffle House.
Wow. Okay. I think you actually mentioned that while we were there. Now that I think about it. His last question is Red Dead Redemption 2 or Red Dead Redemption 1?
Red Dead 1.
Okay. And then is that it? I think that was it. Well, we'll do one more bonus. LED came back and we didn't answer this last week because we were on a time crunch like we are tonight or this time. But I'll go ahead and ask this one just for you. For you, what is your favorite game right now, and what game are you looking forwards to? This is from LED 1992 again.
Favorite game right now is World of Warcraft, and the game I'm looking forward to, hopefully, as long as it doesn't get delayed again, is Grand Theft Auto 6.
All right, well, there you go. Those are all your questions you guys asked for last week's episode. Jeremy answered all of them here, and that frees him up to go do his Easter plans. And thanks for joining us on episode 6, and we'll see you next week. Go take care of go home and be a family man.
All righty, have fun.
All right, it's going to be me and Grem wrapping up the Croakitoad community news and revealing Streamer of the Week. Here to lock things down for the rest of our podcast. I'm going to start things off with the week in Croakitoad, which, as par for the course here lately, hasn't been a whole lot. Last week I started, well, actually we do have a CPW report, but we'll get to that. On Tuesday, I did stream the first ever official quote unquote show for CPW on the brand new WWE 2K6. And we'll go over the results of that here in just a minute. But Tuesday night we streamed that, to a really fun, exciting stream. A lot of people really enjoyed seeing their characters on the new game and everything, but we'll touch on that in just a second. Then I came back on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 3 nights in a row. I guess you could say 2.5 nights in a row, doing Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake for a first-time playthrough, trying to get all the achievements on the Xbox, trying to 100% the game. The first two streams went over just fine. First stream was 4.5 hours. Second stream was 5 hours, and got basically to the end of the game. Really, I was on my way to the final boss of the game. And then on Friday night, we had thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms in the area, completely knocked my power out and actually jump scared me in my seat. And so that cut the stream off right when I was like on the verge of getting to the final boss of the game. So that cut that playthrough short. I will be back to try to finish up the remainder of Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly. If not, as soon as we're done with this podcast, and one of the coming days coming up ahead, just to get it done and on the books for completion. But that's what I've been up to, mostly just more WWE creating for Croakitoad Pro Wrestling on the new season, on the new WWE video game, and then Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly, which a lot of people were really looking forwards to and watching me play. And that's what we did there. And it's just unfortunate that the storms came rolling in and cut my power out and cut that completion short on Friday night. And then, of course, last night, I guess we'll segue over into CPW here, CPW news, and let me get the results up from Tuesday. So yeah, we are now basically all created on the brand new WWE video game. we've got over 70 people locked in, created, ready to go, just in time for our big Twitch front page stream this upcoming Tuesday here for the CPW. It will not be an actual Croakitoad Pro Wrestling show per se. I'll still be just kind of generally playing the game, but it will feature a lot of your characters on the show on Twitch front page. Specifically, if you come by to the chat and just say, hello, I'm here, whatever, I'll be sure to get your character on the show. If you stream regularly on Twitch, I'll give you a shout out as well while I'm on Twitch front page, just to kind of give you a little push towards advertisement for your streams as well, especially if you're part of the Croakitoad stream team, whatever I can do to help. But yeah, we're gearing up towards that. Like I said, we have over 70 characters made on the roster for WWE 2K26. Just about all the key characters are made and ready to go with alternate attires. Movesets are done. Finishers, SIGs are done. Entrances, victories are all done. Really, the only thing left is to insert a little bit of custom pyro here and there on a few people's entrances and finish up the title creation, faceplate creation, and then maybe continue working on some of the NPCs and side characters part of the roster. But yeah, we have over 70 people locked in and ready to go. And most of this has been, I've streamed a little bit of it on my Twitch stream the past month or so, which has taken over my normal streams of game completions and stuff. But also a lot of stuff off stream or Discord streaming. A lot of you have swung by and checked those Discord streams out to see the creation process as well. But we actually put on a show last Tuesday. This was March 31st, Tuesday, March 31st. And we had a show here. I'll just run down the results of the show. And if Grem has anything to add to any of this at the end, we can provide some commentary. But we had our first match kicking off the very first official quote unquote match for 2K26 on the new game for CPW was Puppy versus Azarain. We had to start the match 2 different times because Azarain assaulted Puppy before the match, and then I restarted it, and then Puppy assaulted Azarain before the match. So we couldn't get 2 entrances out of this thing. And then come to find out, even after all that, they never even got into the ring on the second try. They stayed outside of the ring for so long. The referee threw the match out and said, you're both going backstage. Screw you both. Come back next week. Try again. I've never seen that happen before in a WWE game. That's a new thing that they've added apparently in the game. And that was just such a insane thing to start off CPW with. Like, we didn't get just a bread and butter pinfall submission whatever match, just run by the mill. No, the first ever CPW hosted show had to be ended in a no contest where everyone was thrown backstage and the match was just thrown out. How crazy is that? You can't script this. It's absolutely hilarious that's what happened when we're trying to showcase the CPW on a new season in the new game, which is absolutely wild. But then after that, our second match, we had Connie and Linky teaming up to take on their biggest rival right now in the Dragon, Aiden Gallagher, and his unassuming tag partner, Bethany. Those two had never teamed before. It was kind of just like a one-off team. I'm sure Aiden Gallagher was just looking for a partner backstage to take on his big rivals of Linky and Connie to advance their rivalry going into the big one. And Bethany said, you know what? Yeah, I haven't thrown my fists at anybody in a while. I'd love to punch that princess in the face a little bit. So we ended up with a tag team match, and Connie and Linky actually scoring the win. And it was Connie, the magical princess, not Linky, but Connie, getting the scoring win over Aiden Gallagher, which gave him more fuel that Linky is not the man in the relationship. Moving forward towards the big one does not help Linky's case at all, despite the win. And then our third match of the night was really awesome, and I really enjoyed this one. This might actually be my match of the night. But we had Closing Sniper, Agent CS, our first ever CPW Hardcore champion, taking on the debuting New Jack of ECW fame, Deputy Dog and Jess Moxie, the former 3-time hardcore champion, on a 4-way Extreme Rules match. We saw thumbtacks for the first time ever. We saw clown horns. We saw weapons all over the place. We saw broadcast tables getting destroyed. This was one hell of a match. I loved every second of it. And just seeing New Jack flip everybody off was awesome. And as a side note, for those of you that were watching this match in person while it happened, I was really shocked at the amount of people that had no idea who New Jack was. I was like, really? you guys have never heard of New Jack? I think some people thought he was a custom character. I was like, no, this is a real guy. He's like the epitome of hardcore violence and extreme championship wrestling in North America for the 90s. I mean, right up there with Abdullah the Butcher, Cactus Jack. You can't get any more hardcore than New Jack. I mean, come on. So that was really wild. That I was like, wow, okay, some people just didn't really follow ECW that close, I guess. But yeah, New Jack is on the roster. Decided to add him in there as more of like a tribute role, and the Sandman will also be joining the roster as well. They're both included in the game anyway, so I'm like, might as well for the hardcore division just to spice it up. But yeah, that match was amazing. It was a 5-star match in the game, and I'll just go ahead and throw it out there. That was my match of the night for sure. Then coming up next, we had Diamond taking on AJ Jacobs 1-on-1, 3.5 match star rating. Of course, Diamond, last time we saw Diamond on a regular show, she won that big fatal 4-way women's match to earn her right at that time to become #1 contender for Asterial's Women's Championship. And then she gets a big win here over AJ Jacobs, the high-flying superhero in one-on-one action. Looked decisive, and looks like Diamond's ready for another season of CPW on the new game right there with that win. And then after that, we had Wizard Boz taking on Cassidy Ryan, 2 former CPW World Heavyweight Champions and main eventers, mainstays at the peak of the entire roster, going head-to-head here, showcasing their new looks and abilities on the new game. Wizard Boz picking up the win after several acid spits to the face of Cassidy Ryan that put him down. And these two always have great chemistry. Good to see them two go at it toe-to-toe in one-on-one action. After that, we saw the continuation of the whole Tad Peters and his dolls taking on Nathan Moore, Rogue, in the veterans storyline that we last left off with from the last season of CPW, and is moving over to the big one. We saw the new and improved ceramic dolls of Celestia and Maggie Moore that Tad Peters has literally corrupted, teaming up to take on Nathan Moore and Rogue, FAFO, in tag team action. And the match was thrown out and ended in a draw. I believe the result of that was everyone was just fighting on the outside for so long they got double counted out. So that's par for the course for this rivalry. It didn't shock me at all that it just escalated into a brawl and everyone's just beating the hell out of each other. Obviously, Celestia and Maggie Moore are just begging to be saved and rescued under this curse that, not Danhausen curse, but Tadhausen curse that he has put onto them, turning them into his personal playthings and play toys. Obviously, one of them being Nathan Moore's wife. So he has got a personal investment in trying to rescue them, and that's just going to lead up to more stuff going up into the big one for sure. And they look just as creepy as ever before as well on this new season, by the way. Our next match was Buttons defeating Roxas in one-on-one action. Of course, Buttons is our current reigning Twitch.tv television champion. Roxas is a former TV champion. And so this was basically just a match to test them both out. Buttons being the current champion, and Roxas seeing how he fares against the current champ. And Buttons, with the wing clipper, takes Roxas down, 3.5 match star rating, and puts him away in that match. After that, we had Burnsy taking on Danny Adi one-on-one. This is basically a fight in the Young Lions division, the new and upcoming superstars of CPW. Burnsy, wow. If we thought the slappers were decimating in the last season, they are absolutely OP this time around. Burnsy dropping a couple of slappers over the top of Danny Adi's head, chopping his brain out, basically knocking him clean out. 2.5 match star rating. Didn't last very long, but I fear for anyone that has to climb into the ring against double agent Burnsy and get those slappers across the top of the head or the side of the head. They are not going to last very long. And Danny, try as he may, being a graduate of the Heart Dungeon in Calgary and trying to continue the name of the Heart Foundation through CPW, just didn't stand a chance against the slappers on this night. And then we had our next match, Domino, the corporate champion and God's favorite asshole here on Easter, defeating Grem by countout. And I said on commentary while this is happening, this is literally, we've talked about this before, but this is literally the spirit of Domino. My good friend Jacques Domino watching down, knowing that I created his character again on a new game. Boy, he loved the E-Feds. He absolutely adored and cherished the E-Feds and loved his character being an asshole. And I know he was watching this match, and I put him with Grem because I knew he would love that. and they had a one-on-one match. Domino tossing Grem out of the ring and just yeeting him all over the place, and then just sliding back into the ring before the 10 count, winning by count out. And I said on commentary while this happened, that is the epitome of Domino. That's exactly what he would do. If he was here in chat right now, he'd be celebrating, dropping lulls, dropping kappas, and everything else to Zazarus and everyone else in chat saying ha ha, and just perfect, just absolutely perfect. There are moments in time where I feel like Domino, he is watching the stream from where he's at now, and is watching down and with a big smile on his face. And it's happened before in the past, and that was another moment like that, and it just kind of tickled me a little bit to know that. But yeah, our semi-main event featured Jen Von Lee and Asterial of the Blood Triangle taking on Welsh Mosher and Anubis Khan. We had the women's champion and Asterial teaming with Jen, and then we had the Welsh Mosher and Anubis Khan, of course, the Titans, the world tag team champions, and in my opinion, the most dominant tag team ever in CPW history, going head to head in tag team action. And it was actually surprise. Everyone always talks about the track record of Jen Von Lee in the past, not having a very good win-loss record, getting beaten left and right and barely any wins. Well, guess what? Jen Von Lee in her first showing in 2K26, she comes away with a submission victory. She's the one that got the winning submission over the tag team champions. So it looks so far to be a good year for Jen Von Lee. She put in her sales tax on making everybody else look good last season, and now it's time for her to rise through the ashes, I guess, and get some big wins under her belt. So Jen Von Lee looking impressive alongside Asterial. And I feel honestly, after the creation process, the Blood Triangle are definitely like some of the top poster characters of the entire CPW this time around. They just look phenomenal, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. Really amazing models there for Asterial, Jen Von Lee, and Vampy in the Blood Triangle. But everyone looks amazing, not to take anything away from anyone else, but great match there. If you looked at the match on paper, in terms of just watching it visually, you're like, wow, we got these two giant behemoths taking on these two tiny women. And Asterial's not tiny anymore, if you've seen her newest model. But they just completely swallowed them both whole, but still end up losing. So that just goes to show that size doesn't mean everything in CPW, and anyone can get the big win if the RNG decides it's going to go that way. There in our semi-main event. And of course, our main event of the evening featured our CPW World Heavyweight Champion, Psycho T, bringing Mr. Coke to the Nightmare World and battling him in a main event Inferno match. It was the first time ever Inferno match for CPW history. I decided to end it off on a big note, on a flaming note. And Psycho T's, this is basically Psycho T's hallmark match, I would say. I mean, we know Freddy Krueger's afraid of fire. That's his biggest weakness. But to Psycho T, it seems like it gets him just even more fired up. No pun intended. But he battled Mr. Coke one-on-one. And it might have been one of their first ever one-on-ones, to be honest. But the world champion throwing Mr. Coke into the flames on the outside of the ring, lighting him on fire. And then we saw the fire extinguishers putting out Mr. Coke flames that he was lit on fire there. And Psycho T picking up the win in our main event for our first ever showcase of CPW on 2K26. I love this show as a whole. It looked great. I'm really excited to see what new things they've added to the game that we didn't even see, that we're going to inevitably see with CPW coming back every Tuesday. And I just can't wait to see what the build-up for the big one is going to be now that we're seem to be back rolling again. And with the next CPW show, once again, this Tuesday being on the Twitch front page, that's just going to draw even more attention to Croakitoad Pro Wrestling and Croakitoad in general. For the WWE. I know I've spent countless hours of editing and creating and making sure this is right and that is right, and crossing the T's, dotting the I's, getting everything just perfect to my liking, that it's finally nice to sit back and see it all start to come together and play itself out, and see the product of the madness that has been being built in the laboratory all these weeks and weeks and weeks. So that was really nice. But that's your rundown for CPW last Tuesday. Again, looking forward to that big Twitch front page stream coming up in a few days at the time of this recording, but I'll send it over to Grem. What were your thoughts on this week's or last week's CPW? Do you have anything to add on any of the matches? Any thoughts, anything, footnotes that you had in mind while watching this show go down for the first time ever on the new 2K26?
I mean, you pretty much hit a lot of it. At the same time, too, I guess my match of the night, I'm going to be a little biased, but the Jen Von Lee and Astriel versus Welsh Mosher and Anubis Khan. Like you had said with Jen, it's time for her to start cashing in, and her look too is really, really awesome as well. And I think that's what I'm kind of looking forward to. For example, Tuesday and then going forward is not only the new looks that you've given some of these people, but the other attires as well that, again, some people don't even know that they even have an alt attire. So at the same time, too, a lot of big surprises coming up for CPW this year. I can't wait. The Inferno match was awesome. Don't get me wrong. I can't wait to see that in more matches going down in the year, and then on top of that too, the other type of new matches that they came out with as well, just to kind of see what we can really create in terms of like moments, and whether they be funny, whether they be like sentimental, things like that, just or have never seen before moments that we normally get to see when you run CPW. So it's going to be a very fun season this year, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It was great to see everyone, remade again, and again, the countless hours that you put in. There's not enough thanks in the world for what you do, for the love of what you have when it comes to these E-Feds, man. And hopefully on Tuesday we get to showcase that a little bit more to a much broader audience, and they can also see the genius that is Tad Peters when it comes to E-Feds.
How did you feel about the first match on the everything? Just the first WWE 2K26. Okay, it's Puppy versus Azarain. Okay, Puppy comes out first. He gets ambushed by Azarain. Okay, that's fine. We expect that from Azarain. He's going to come out and ambush people, so we don't get to see his entrance, which is the whole reason. One of the reasons why we had this show to begin with was to look at people's entrances. And so, okay, we're like, reset it. All right, we'll have Azarain come out first, and then Puppy will come out second, because Puppy's not going to ambush Azarain while he's coming to the ring. Not at all. Well, guess what? He does. Puppy does ambush Azarain as he's coming out of the damn ring, which is completely uncharacteristic of him. So then we don't get to see Puppy's entrance. And so we just let it play out anyway, because we saw it on the first reset. And so the match never even goes into the ring anyway. And they just stay outside of the ring with the referee there. And it just goes on so long. The game, I guess, is just like, nope, go back. You're done.
I think that's a nice little added thing. Like, again, we haven't seen that before, like almost ever, if I recall. So something like that is kind of funny. It's also Azarain, so at the same time too, I'm like, okay, it's just the mind games of Azarain, just having a little fun with us. But again, that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking forward to seeing when the year finally starts rolling, and these little things that can create stories. And that's really what wrestling in a nutshell can be about. It's just creating stories, whether it's in the ring, whether it's not in the ring, little hiccups like this with our first ever match, if you will, with CPW, like live on Twitch, and you're just like, oh, this is how we're gonna start, huh? Okay, well, no, that's not how we're gonna start. I'm gonna fix it. And then all of a sudden it just, the roles reverse, and you're just like, all right, that's it, whatever. And then just not even getting to the ring is just it's good. Like I said, I hope for many more little fun surprises as we go on throughout the year.
All right, and then we'll end it up with one. I'll just get your thoughts on one last thing here. Do you kind of agree with my assessment that Domino was probably watching from above and just like cheering?
Yeah, we say that all the time. Like, the game knows, especially when it comes to a lot of stuff that you do. But at the same time, too, oh yeah, for sure. Like you had said, Domino was a very much a staple when it came to the E-Feds that you had. And he was always just there. He just wanted to have a good time and just have fun. And the fact that a lot of times when we have like Domino matches, we see a little bit of Domino, just like his character actually like really shine through, and it just, yeah, like you said, it just brings a smile to your face, because you're like, yeah, that's him, and he's there and he's watching. and he wants us to smile and ultimately not forget him, and which we will never forget Domino.
Yep. And for anyone just listening to this, Domino is a character, part of our CPW show we do on the WWE video game. I've included him every year ever since we met. I found we met each other through the wrestling on America Online, actually, through the chat rooms. So he followed me to Justin TV, which is now Twitch. And he passed away several years ago due to complications, weight loss surgery. And he passed away. And as a tribute to him, my good friend, I said, as long as I continue doing the wrestling E-Feds on the newest WWE games, I'll continue to create his character and keep him on the roster, just mostly as a tribute to remember him. And there's a lot of people still in the community today that had interactions with him and knew of him and shared the same chat room with him and everything and had experiences with him. And so they also can remember him, as well as new people that didn't know him at all and are finding out about him for the first time. But yeah, has a very special place in my heart there, Domino. But when he pulls things like that, it just makes me think back to the days when he was still around in the chat and everything, and just cheering and just being kind of a shit poster, really, to everyone, especially the goody two shoes characters on the roster for sure. But all right, that'll wrap up our CPW report. Great show. I'm really happy with what we saw on the show. Really excited to see once we get rocking and rolling every Tuesday night. And also another key point here that is really recent to the recording of this podcast. The arena has been done, and when we go live on Tuesday on Frontpage of Twitch, we'll also be doing this for the St. Jude Children's Hospital Play Live event. And you will be able to see the St. Jude logos on the ring mat for this event. And I'll probably just leave them there throughout the duration of the Play Live event as well, which is currently happening. It's always every springtime where St. Jude does the Play Live event and asks streamers to raise money for St. Jude Children's Hospitals. And I'm more than happy to tag along, I believe, for the fourth or fifth year, I think fourth year in a row now to help contribute to that amazing cause. But yeah, that's the CPW report. We're going to move on over to the Croakitoad world of the stream team here and wrap things up with Streamer of the Week. But before we get to that, I'll just kind of run down what kind of everyone was saying that they were working on and playing. I made a post back on Friday and kind of asked what everyone was going to be doing over the weekend, asking them, everyone what their plans were and everything. And this is some of the responses that you guys gave in the Discord. Roxas997 said he's going to do some Resident Evil Crash Bandicoot PS1. Whether or not these things actually transpired, I don't know. But regardless, everyone here posting is part of the stream team. So nevertheless, is still giving a little bit of advertisement out to fellow members of the stream team, which is what this section of the podcast is for. And then Mama Buttons said she's going to be working on those Tomb Raider Remastered 1, 2, 3 trophies and getting the rest of those done, including the Megalodont trophy, which is everyone's favorite. Indo Girl 1982 said she's going to do some WWE 2K26 and maybe some Supermarket Simulator because she used to work at a grocery store IRL. Well, there you go. Lone Star, one of our newest members of the Croakitoad stream team, Lone Star _82, said he's going to be doing some SnowRunner and then maybe some World of Warcraft. Very nice. I know Puerto Rican Chipmunk, aka Maggie, has been working on a lot of Eden Eternal lately on her Twitch stream. So that's really cool. I'll have to find out more information about what that game is, but I know she's been playing the heck out of that. And then we had a post from Feet Speeds Games, who was actually streaming earlier at the time of this podcast, who was actually doing some Fear Effect 2. But he said he's also doing Fear Effect 2 and playing a TR Rally, which is a custom fan-made Tomb Raider level / map called Death Wish, which is apparently one of the hardest TR Rallies made. And, of course, the Dino Crisis speedruns that he's known for. And he is actually currently streaming right now at the time of this recording with more Fear Effect 2 on the PS5, a game I finally need to actually play as well. So shout out to Feats there. And then Tommy Spud came in with some Disney Dreamlight Valley, Super Mega Baseball 4, Madden 11. He loves doing those modded sports games and maybe some Vampire Survivors. But yeah, Tommy Spud, also who we'll be seeing at QuakeCon 2026. By the way, if anyone out there is going to QuakeCon, planning on attending, please let us know in the comments or hit us up, because we're planning on going to QuakeCon again another year there in Dallas, Texas in August. We'd love to collaborate. If anyone there is coming to QuakeCon, let us know, and we'll let you know what seat we're in, and maybe we can play some games there in the BYOC or anything. But yeah, that's kind of the world of Croakitoad Stream Team. And I guess there's only, I guess we'll make an special announcement here. Newest member bringing our team roster for the Croakitoad Stream Team on Twitch up to 51 now. Our newest member, congratulations and welcome, Ali D 1992, for joining the Croakitoad Gaming Twitch Stream Team, bringing it up to 51 streamers. That's awesome. Thank you very much for doing that. And we will send it off with one last thing to do, and we gotta find it here. Let's see here. We will end it off with let's see. Here we go. Streamer of the week. And we are going to do our 6th ever Streamer of the Week for Croakitoad Stream Team. And my pick for Croakitoad Streamer of the Week will go to one of the most consistent streamers that's a part of the team. He streams all the time. You can't find someone that streams as frequently as he does as part of the team. Very consistent, plays a lot of Tomb Raider, is trying to work his way up that Dino Crisis any percent speedrun PB for the entire world right now. Also plays TRLEs and just all kinds of stuff. And I have to send in a very big supporter of Croakitoad in general. But this week's Streamer of the Week for the week of Easter week is going to go over to my friend from the UK, Feats Beats Games. Round of applause, sound effect. Yeah. That is my choice for Streamer of the Week there. And we'll end off our podcast here with a little clip from our Streamer of the Week. This is Feats Beats Games playing one of his TRLEs and commenting on a terrible jump that took place.
God, it's the most annoying part of it that I can't actually get the initial jump right for most of the time. Oh, this is it. Yeah, got it. Woohoo! Where's the lever?
Feats, save your game, you bloody idiot.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So so I made a really terrible jump there, it looks like, and then there's supposed to be a lever there, or a lever there, and I guess it didn't spawn in or glitched out or something. And so he did all that work jumping across that TRLE, doing a very terrible jump for absolutely nothing. I'm not really sure how he fixed that. Well, maybe he'll let us know in the comments or hit us up once he listens and sees this. But I'm really interested to see how that all panned out. But those of us that have played those TRLEs before, we know this is the circumstances that can happen when you do something really crazy and you spend so much time on it, you finally get past it, and then here's the next thing. And that's definitely an epitome of that. But congratulations to Feats Beats Games on being our 6th ever Croakitoad Streamer of the Week. And keep on chugging, keep on plugging, and keep on streaming, Feats. Really appreciate you being a supporter of Croakitoad, the community, and everything else. So really, really happy to announce that for you there. All right, but that'll do it for podcast number 6. We covered a lot today, and I hope everyone listening and watching this has a great Easter, or you had a great Easter, depending on when you're listening to this, and we certainly will. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled for the Twitch front page news for next week's podcast. We'll talk about the results of that, what happened, some of the memorable moments of being on the Twitch front page this upcoming Tuesday. We'll also keep you posted on if all 3 of us went out and saw the new Super Mario Galaxy movie and give our thoughts on that. And of course, we'll give our thoughts about the finals of the March Madness, and then talk a little bit about the the tail end of the NBA season and kind of follow a little bit of pro wrestling as well. But thank you all so much for tuning in and listening to episode 6. And we actually got to get your questions into Raji as well before his Easter event started. With that being said, that's all I got. I'll send it over to Grem if he's got anything else to add. We'll wrap this sucker up.
No, just again, thank you for everyone for not only listening, but showing support for us as well. We always have a blast doing this podcast, and can't wait for number 7. And again, everyone just stay radical and stay radical to each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as always, thank you all for listening and watching, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Please consider dropping us a like, follow, or subscribe, or leave us a comment on the comments wherever you're listening. If you have any ideas or suggestions on what you would like to see us cover, be it new video games, old video games, movie trailers, sports, pop culture, anything like that. If you have any kind of food for thought for us to bring to the table, go ahead and let us know. We'd love to hear your feedback and your suggestions, and always open for ideas. And if you have access to our Discord server at Croakitoad, feel free to post anything you'd like for us to cover. Post for anything you'd like for us to cover in the Toad Talk podcast category. Otherwise, we'll see you for the next episode next weekend. Lots more to talk about each week. And hopefully I'll see you at the Twitch front page this Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central to 1 a.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern to 2 a.m. Eastern this Tuesday on twitch.tv. No / required, just twitch.tv. I'll be right there at the top. Hope to see you there. Please, if you're in the chat, send me a message. Let me know you're there. Say hello, and I'll give you a shout out right there live from the main page. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll catch you next weekend. Happy Easter, everybody.